I only watched Nintendo's main event, main E3 event. I didn't bother with the Treehouse stuff because well, one, I had to take a state test today at 1 in the afternoon, so I didn't have time to watch the Treehouse event. And two, even if I did have time, the Treehouse events are boring as fuck, so I don't even bother with them. I tried watching them last year and the year before that. They just put me to sleep, alright? They really need to work on making those more entertaining, but that's besides the point. If I miss anything, well, oh well. Because I don't watch those Treehouse events and I don't plan on watching them. Anyways, I'm just focusing on the main event and some of the stuff that was announced on the during the Treehouse event because I was told about the stuff that was announced. Anyways, I was going in on this E3 event thinking I was going to be disappointed. I was prepared for a disappointment. I was prepared to make an angry video at Nintendo saying, this was another bad E3, but actually this E3 was a pleasant surprise. The best E3 they have had in a few years. I think 2014's E3 was also great. 2015 was god awful, and 2016's was just boring because the only thing worthwhile was Breath of the Wild. But this one was jam packed with games, and that is something Nintendo has been missing for a while. Because with the Wii U, they didn't get the Wii U didn't get a whole lot of games, and now it seems like Nintendo's finally learned that lesson and finally bringing a lot of content to the Switch, a lot of variety, a lot of solid games, and really, there was really no game that really didn't disappoint me or think this is just garbage shovelware because the last few E3s were littered with that. But this E3, I didn't really get that. I didn't really get that thought. So, anyways, I guess this is the part where I go through all the games and talk about how I feel about them. This isn't going to be in the order they announced the games in. I'm just going to talk about what I was interested in, and maybe some stuff I didn't like. The Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC. This pretty much, expands the game, gives you more modes, and it even gives you new armor and new masks and stuff like that. And, well, this DLC I'm really looking forward to, and I hope it's also for the Wii U version. I hope it's not just for the Switch version. Feel free to tell me if it's for both or one of the versions. Please, I'd love to know because I kind of want to get this DLC because, it's more stuff to do after you beat the game, and I'm sure it'll probably open up new objectives and stuff like that, and I'm looking forward to this DLC. I really like how Nintendo handles DLC. Like, it's not an obvious cash grab like a lot of other companies do. Like, they give you this really shitty DLC, or maybe it's like required DLC. Thank God Nintendo doesn't do that, where you have to get the DLC in order to, like, advance in the game and stuff like that. I'm glad Nintendo doesn't go that route, and I like what they do with their DLC. It's fair, it's most of the time worth it, and it actually improves the game and makes the game more fun and gives you more stuff to do in the game. So hell yeah, why not get this DLC? The next thing I want to talk about is a new Kirby game was also announced. It doesn't have an official name yet, and it's coming out in 2018. Sob, but I'll survive, trust me. It looks fun. I mean, it looks like your typical Kirby game. I played some of the old school Kirby games, and I really enjoyed it. And well, maybe I'll give this game a shot. Why not? It's Kirby. It's fun. I'm sure it'll be worth my time, and I know I'll probably end up enjoying it. So, thumbs up to that game. I really don't have much to say yet because there's not really much details out about that game yet because, well, it's probably still early in development, and they don't want to say much about it yet. But still, a solid title, and really no complaints for me. The next game I want to talk about is another Yoshi game was announced. It's another one of those yarn Yoshi games, like the one that came out for the Wii U. And I really did enjoy that game. I beat it a long time ago, but it's a really fun and cute game, and I'm sure this game also will be the same way, and it won't disappoint. I'm sure that game will be a lot of fun too. And much like the Kirby game, there's not a whole lot of info on it yet. It's also going to come out in 2018. Another game I'm sure is early in development, so nothing much is really said about it yet. But I do hope we get details soon on the game because, again, it looks cute, it looks fun, and it looks like something I'll end up enjoying. Another game that was announced was Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions, which I'm pretty sure, like, judging from the trailer, the Bowser minion part is another part of the story, or maybe a completely different game. I don't know, maybe two games in one. Or maybe a side story or something. But I was never huge on the Mario and Luigi games. I'm more of a Paper Mario type of person. I played the one from a few years ago. The one where Mario enters Luigi's dreams. Dream Team. That's what it was called. I remember when Nintendo was making a big deal over that game. I bought the game the day it launched, and well, I liked the game, but I didn't think it was amazing or anything. I wasn't wowed by it. But it was cool. I mean, maybe I'll get this game. I don't know if I really really feel like it. But for now, pretty indifferent on the game because again, I'm not huge on the Mario and Luigi games. And speaking of Mario, Mario is having a crossover with the Rabid characters. You know those stupid little rabbit things. The Ubisoft games. Those little rabbit characters. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm not looking forward to this at all. Not one bit. I've played those Rabid games before. I had never owned one. I think a friend had it or something, and I've always found those characters to be obnoxious as fuck. I never enjoyed them, and those characters could just die in hell for all I care. All right, and seeing Mario having a crossover with it, it makes my skin crawl. It just makes my skin crawl. It really does. But so obviously I'm not interested in that game in the least bit, but it comes out August 29th. So yeah, that's the day Satan rises from hell. Anyway, moving on from that garbage. Still, while we're on the subject of Mario, Nintendo released a new trailer for Super Mario Odyssey, and the game looks fucking great. Holy shit! I mean, here's what they pretty much showed off in the trailer. If you haven't seen it, which really, what are you doing with your life? So, anyways, Mario can throw his cap now apparently, and he can throw it at coins to collect coins or objects to make them useful, like he could throw his cap at a platform and then he'll be able to bounce on that platform. And he could even use it to turn into different kind of creatures and people. In the trailer, it showed that he can turn into a dinosaur, T-Rex, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And he even turned into one of the civilians that he walked by. And it's honestly so cool. Like, I really like this feature of the game. It's finally something new and fresh for the Mario franchise. Not just that, he can go to. Now it looks like can go to different time periods. I mean, you saw that he was in prehistoric times and modern times. Like, it looked like he was in New York City. And even, I think he was even in the regular Mushroom Kingdom in a few parts of the trailer. And it's so nice to see they brought something new to the Mario franchise because, again, the past few games are just the same thing. They're in the Mushroom Kingdom trying to stop Bowser, and, at the end of the level, you go on the flagpole, and, was the same thing that a lot of people are used to, but they're finally trying something new, and they haven't really done anything new with the Mario franchise since the Galaxy games, really, so about, 7 years now. Jesus Christ, it's finally time to bring something new and fresh to the Mario franchise, and I'm glad that they're doing that because honestly, Mario games are getting stale. Not bad, but just stale. Honestly, I really, really want to play this game because it looks like a lot of fun. It really does. And also, new Metroid game for 3DS. A real Metroid game, not that Federation Force shit that they did 2 years ago. A real Metroid game for 3DS. Finally, holy shit. It's been so long since the last Metroid game, and it's so nice to see Metroid come back. The game is even called Samus's Return, which is great. It really is, and the game looks really good for being on 3DS. It really does. It looks phenomenal. I'm pretty sure this is probably going to be one of the last titles for the 3DS because the 3DS honestly kind of felt like an afterthought this E3 because it was mostly focused on the Switch, which I wanted to see, and it really does seem like the 3DS is on its way out because, well, the Switch is doing phenomenally right now and it's probably going to do even better when all these titles come out for it. And, well, it's not a Metroid game for the Switch, but it's something. But here's the thing. Nintendo also confirmed that Metroid Prime 4 is being made. This honestly blew me away when I first saw it. I did not expect a surprise this big from Nintendo. Metroid Prime 4. I played some Metroid Prime games and I loved them to death. This was last year I finally got into them. It was the GameCube ones, and it was I really did like those games, and I'm so happy that they're finally going to make another one, I should say. We didn't get any information aside from just the title screen, and that's really it. Just Nintendo saying, "Oh, this exists. We're making it." But you know what? That's fine, because as long as I know Metroid Prime 4 is in the works and will release, I'm happy with just that. Trust me, and I do sincerely hope we get more details on it soon, because I crave details on this game. I just really do. Anyways, that's all I really wanted to talk about. The stuff I'm actually interested in, and the stuff I actually had stuff to say about. So anyways, on the event itself, I really like how it was done. For a 25-minute event, it was actually pretty good. I was actually, when I first heard it was 25 minutes, I actually expected to be really let down. But honestly, I wasn't. I set my expectations really low, but honestly, it really exceeded what I expected. I honestly didn't expect it to be that good. And this is definitely, like I said in the beginning of the video, one of the best E3s in the past few years. Probably ever since 2014. That was a great E3 for Nintendo. And 2015 was trash, a bunch of shovelware shit and stuff people didn't want. And 2016 probably even worse because, well, Zelda was just was really just the main focus and nothing really else. That was a pathetic E3 and really embarrassing for Nintendo, and showed that no one cared about the Wii U, no one wanted to make games on it, and when a company only has one game worth talking about at E3, that is a huge problem. That is a big issue for that company. But thankfully, this E3 it was jam packed with a bunch of new titles and a lot of support for the console. I am so happy to see this, and I honestly think now that the Switch probably has a very bright future. I doubted this when around the time it was announced, and I even doubted this when it launched. But now I'm like, maybe the Switch actually has a shot. Maybe Nintendo could actually really pull this off and have a very successful console. And the console's already doing phenomenal right now. Imagine how it's going to do when all these titles are released. I mean, I'm sure a whole bunch of third-party developers will see this and will think, "Oh, wow, the Switch is a really profitable system. Let's put our games on it and we'll get more support." And the Switch will get even more support than it is right now, and it'll be so glorious to see. Nintendo finally got their shit together. Nintendo is finally thinking, "Oh, we need games for our consoles. We should stop having all these droughts and actually make third party developers want to make titles for our system." It seems like Nintendo finally pulled their heads out of their asses, and it's so great to see. And about the event, I really liked how it was. It was primarily about the games. It cut pretty much straight to the chase. It didn't open up with any cringy shit, no opening skit that wasn't funny at all. It was, it was about the games and nothing else. Nintendo didn't do any of their usual cringy attempt at trying to be hip and cool or any of that. No, they just showed off the games and that's it. And occasionally they would show someone from Nintendo or one of the third-party devs talking about the game, and that's it. It did have this little opening thing with Reggie, but it was cool and it was brief, so no complaints about that. So anyway, the big question, I'll end this video off with this. Will I get the Switch? Yes. Yes, I would. This E3 actually enticed me and made me excited about the Switch and made me actually want to get a Switch. When will I get the Switch? Probably at the end of this year when a lot of these titles release, like the Mario game and stuff like that. A lot of these titles got me hyped, and I was like, you know what? Why not? I'll get a Switch. The Switch actually seems promising to me now, And again, I think it has a bright future with all these great games coming to it. And again, it seems like Nintendo really cut the bullshit and learned a lot from the Wii U. And I applaud them for that. I really do applaud them for that. And you know it's a really good E3 if it actually got me, a very cynical person who always sees the worst side of things, hyped and excited and actually want to buy a console. So yeah, Nintendo actually accomplished something big today. Congrats, Nintendo. Congrats. Anyway, the C3, all in all, was a huge win for Nintendo. And it feels so good for me to finally make a positive video about Nintendo, or a positive video at all. How often do those come on my channel? Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.